How are we doing this morning? I wanted to do this next live session. I got about 20 minutes before my next interview kicks off. And this has been on my plate for 3 or 4 days. It's actually, I just want to make it really, really clear who wins with rent strikes. There seems to be a growing momentum around rent strikes in some of the larger cities. And I just want to make sure everyone is aware that Wall Street, those big, greedy, deep pocketed Wall Street titans, they are the ones that win when tenants strike and hurt their mom and pop landlord. So I just want to go through some details. I've read many articles on this. There's more and more articles coming out about mom and pop investors who have one, two, three properties, and at least the articles I'm reading, they're in great pain. And if this is going on in mass, it is going to be, Wall Street is going to clean up again. If you do not recall, in 2010, and I wrote about this in my book, One Rental at a Time, we were buying multiple properties at land value right out of the MLS and using private money for the entire purchase price. And it was months we were doing this. And then all of a sudden it changed. Out of nowhere, what happened is Wall Street came in and started buying entire portfolios of properties. Hence, I never saw another property hit the MLS and thus couldn't add another one to my portfolio. Wall Street bought them all. And now there are large funds that own thousands of units scattered across the US that were picked up for nothing. And now they're a REIT or some other kind of entity. So let's just know that if rent strikes happen and we're hurting the mom and pop landlords, just like the owner occupants of 2008, Wall Street will be the winner. The landlord will hurt first. The tenant will hurt second. Wall Street has the deep pockets to wait out this evictions moratorium. They will likely come in and turn any units into the highest and best use, which might be to put condoize them. It might mean raising rents from, raising the quality of the building. I promise you, tenants might feel good early with the rent strike, but it will hurt later. So let me just share some details that I took from one article that I thought was pretty telling. So there was a Connecticut landlord. She owned one building, 27 units. Right now, she is suffering through 50% rent collection, and she doesn't know what to do. Evictions are banned in her location. There's no penalty. She can't do late payments. She can't do anything to encourage collection from the other 50%. And you got to realize these mom and pop operators don't make a lot of money. So first off, she has a day job. It's not like she has 27 units and she's living on a beach somewhere. She has a day job. She showed a profit of roughly $24,000 last year for her 27 unit building, which is less than $1,000 per unit for the year. That's like $80 a month. So what happens? Well, she is now behind on her $1.2 million mortgage. That's not good. She's very clear that the tenants live better than her. Her tenants have nicer cars and nicer TVs than she does, which in my experience was true. When we were building our portfolio and we would go visit the houses or apartments, 90% of the tenants that we visited had nicer cars than we did and had much, 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 much bigger TVs. For over a decade, we had one 24-inch TV for the entire house. We would go to two-bedroom apartments and they would have 3 or 4 TVs. It's just true. Now let's put this in context. That one story for this Connecticut landlord is terrible, but let's just play this in mass. 50%, 50% of the 43 million units that are in the rental stock are owned by mom and pop investors. Mom and pop being somebody who owns less than 20 units or 20 properties. The mortgage market for them is $1.6 trillion. So remember our Connecticut lady, 50% rent collection behind on her $1.3 million loan. They're already expecting a 5% default. Yeah, and the latest iPhone. That's true. Very true. Tenants have the latest iPhone. They're forecasting this could go up to 10% if rent strikes take hold and landlords can't service their debt. So again, let's just play this out. This was what would happen if tenants don't pay. And I'm not talking about tenants who can't pay. It was very clear in this article the tenants that she is serving can pay, meaning they have the funds either through unemployment or some other means to pay. They just don't want to. There's no penalty. They're out partying and doing all these things. So what's going to happen is, again, her loan of $1.2 million is behind. It is not backed by FHA or Fannie Mae or any of that, so she can't get an easy forbearance, right? It's not in the CARES Act. She is working with her lender, who is giving her a break of interest-only payments. That is not going to last forever. That is only 3 months in duration. So she is pretty clear that she thinks by the end of the year, if this doesn't turn around with rent collection, she will lose the building. So, okay, that landlord's hurt. She loses her building. Then what happens is somebody will buy that building, or maybe buy the note. They'll probably buy the note, and then they will foreclose on her, probably. But again, somebody else will be the buyer. She needs to, so the buyer of that then will buy it at a discount. So the banks will be hurt, right? This is why you see all the banks having large reserves for bad debt. This asset will be sold at a discount. There is no question. The next person coming in will have deeper pockets, and the tenants won't be able to bully this individual or likely hedge fund or deep pocket Wall Street investor. They will just wait it out. Then they will remove everyone. They will upgrade the units, take it from a class C to B or B to A or whatever it is. If it's configured in such a way, they will absolutely condoize it and sell it off as asset, because we have a housing shortage. Wall Street investors don't play. Wall Street is salivating to pick up more assets from mom and pop investors. They picked up hundreds of thousands of homes because of the last financial crisis. And if we aren't careful, Wall Street will own more of our housing stock in this crisis. So I just wanted this to be clear. Rent strikes don't help tenants in the medium or long term. It doesn't. If you can pay, you should. If you can't, I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of Wall Street. Wall Street's not a fan of mine. But understand what will happen. Wall Street will own more of our housing stock, and that makes me sick. It makes me sick to think that Wall Street is sitting there with their bags full of money, smoking a big ass cigar, going, damn, the American public is stupid. I actually think that's what Wall Street thinks. I think Wall Street thinks the American population en masse is stupid. And every 10 to 15 years, they come in and scoop up our assets for pennies on the dollar. Then they wait for the market to recover. Then they package them all up, sell them as a REIT, cash out twice. It's an easy game that they're playing. So again, this just needs to be talked about. Tenants need to realize that, if they're going to play a game and do rent strikes to purposely hurt their landlord, they're sealing their fate. The next buyer won't play. Mom and pop investors, my experience, do a great job. They don't make a lot of money. They are doing this for long-term family planning. And any short-sighted, malicious mean-spirited approach to hurting them hurts everyone. Borrowing costs go up, access to loans go down, and Wall Street comes in with their big checkbook and cleans up. So I just wanted to share that. This has been sitting on my plate for a couple of days. I finally had a few minutes to record this live stream. Let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.